Welcome everyone to our Academy graduation ceremony. My name is Chuck Bain and I have the honor to serve as the director of the Law Enforcement Academy, and I'll be serving as your MC for today's ceremony. Now, in addition to everybody here on site, we are also live streaming the ceremony today. So we welcome and extend our thanks to the people that are joining us from afar. We also have, just for your information, we have a viewing system set up in the large room directly behind the gymnasium here. It's on big screen. So if you find yourself getting anxious or little ones want a place to run around and yet you still connect with the ceremony, please, that's an area for you to go as well, that we have some spillover here. So this morning we celebrate the graduation of Peace Officer Basic Class 24A 165. That number you see on your program does have some meaning. 24 obviously is the year. A indicates it's the first Peace Officer Basic Class of 2024, and 165 denotes that this is the 165th graduating Peace Officer Basic Class from our Academy. Our ceremony is steeped in history and tradition. Veteran officers who began their careers in Wyoming and who have graduated from our Academy have shared the same sense of accomplishment and perhaps even relief felt by today's graduates. Peace Officer Basic Training graduation marks a time of transition for these officers as they begin their law enforcement careers. This transition takes them from being individual contributors now to public servants who must focus on others and not themselves. This transition is not easy and not everyone is successful, but these students have every right to be proud of their hard work and accomplishments during these past 12 weeks. Today, when we award their certificate, we at the Academy for the first time address them as officer, deputy, or warden as another example of this transition taking place. But this ceremony is not just about the graduates. It's also an expression of thanks to families and administrators who have supported them during their absence. We welcome your participation in today's ceremonies with yells and cheers as we celebrate the success of these students. It is more than appropriate to share in the overwhelming pride, honor, and joy felt within this room. Remember, today is likely the only time in these officers' careers where they will encounter such a large gathering of people that are actually happy to see them. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and welcome Peace Officer Basic Class 24A 165. Class, please come forward. Audience, please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation. The class has selected their classmates who are military veterans to lead us in the pledge. Veterans?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are pleased to have Tim Ricker, a member and past president of the Wyoming Law Enforcement Chaplains Association, with us to deliver today's invocation. Chaplain?
Please bow in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, We come together this morning to honor these graduates, to wish them success and fulfillment in their lives and careers. As we do this, I pray for them and ask that you protect them in the days ahead and protect their loved ones. Thank you for the commitment to law enforcement and the willingness to put themselves in harm's way on our behalf. Please bless them abundantly. Thank you also for this place of instruction for those who labor here and teach and train others. I pray that they also are protected by you, that they go home safely each night. I pray also for the United States of America, and that our leaders would seek your guidance and will for this nation. Please bless and protect all those who serve in our military and foreign countries and law enforcement throughout our land. I ask all of this in the precious name of my Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please be seated. At this time, please allow me a moment to introduce a few of the people that you see here sitting at my right. I'm going to skip the first person here in just a minute. You've met Chaplain Ricker. Next to him, we have Post Commissioner Shane Cheney, Post Commissioner Brian Colvard, Post Commissioner Ronnie Jones, the Executive Director of the Peace Officers Standards Training Commission, Chris Walsh, and my right-hand man and personal bodyguard, Deputy Director Jesse Curtis. No organization can or would be successful without support from behind the scenes, and our Academy is no exception. Staff members are what make this training possible and highly effective. As I speak, 3 of our most vital service sections remain elsewhere at work in our facility. It is their collective efforts that contribute and ensure the quality of today's ceremony. These sections include our food service, custodial, and our maintenance staff. Even though they can't join us here this morning, please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication. The Academy Office section is known for its dedication and efficiency. Without them, we could not accomplish our mission. Could I ask the members of the office team that are with us today to please stand and be recognized? The last section that is here and part of today's ceremony is our instructional staff. Whatever you may have heard about this group, their pride, their enthusiasm for their jobs, and their dedication to the students that they train is second to none. They not only instruct a wide variety of subjects, but they serve as team leaders, coaches, coordinators, and some, even today's event, as our security. Instructional staff present today, please stand to be recognized. Now, at this point in the ceremony, I would like to ask county sheriffs, chiefs of police, and agency administrators who are attending the ceremony today to please stand and be recognized. It is not an easy feat for these administrators to clear their busy schedules to personally attend their officer or deputy or warden's graduation. Thank you, administrators, for attending today. And finally, we would like to give recognition to the department's command staff, middle managers, first-line supervisors, and law enforcement co-workers in our audience today. Anyone representing a law enforcement agency, please stand. Thank you for joining us today. Let me now take a few moments to tell you about the training course that these graduates have just completed. Peace Officer Basic course is 605 hours. That puts us 26th in the nation in terms of curriculum hours for basic training. The course is centered on 5 major competencies: criminal law, interpersonal interactions, professional skills, enforcement skills, and investigative skills. Within these competencies are 19 performance standards that include things like conflict management, critical thinking, problem solving, professional responsibility, ethics, controlling people and circumstances, vehicle operation, and evidence gathering. There are 152 individual topics within this course and a total of 814 training objectives. These students spent 52% of their curriculum time in practical application of these objectives and an additional 55 hours integrating their knowledge and skills in evaluated scenarios. Along with their time on campus and in these practicals, the students are required to learn independently, read case law, study written material, determine and seek out resources to complete various assignments. I tell each of these classes on the first day that this is a challenging job, so expect the training to be challenging as well. If this job was easy, everyone would be doing it. Please join me in recognizing this class for accomplishing these course requirements. It is now my honor to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today's ceremony. He grew up in Wyoming and received his bachelor's degree in wildlife and fisheries biology and management from the University of Wyoming and a master's degree in strategic studies from the United States Army War College. He began his career with the Wyoming Game and Fish in 1995. He is a graduate of the Wyoming Law Enforcement Academy Peace Officer Basic Class 96A81. And yes, I remember that class. He has worked in various capacities, including game warden, where he was stationed in Glendo and Casper before being promoted to patrol the Elk Mountain District. He was transferred to the South Pinedale District in May 2005 and was promoted to be the Cody Region's Wildlife Supervisor in August of 2010. In 2011, he took over as Chief Game Warden, responsible for all operations of the department's Wildlife Division, including law enforcement, terrestrial game, non-game, and habitat management, and veterinary services. In 2019, Governor Mark Gordon appointed him as director of the Wyoming Game and Fish Department. In addition to his service in the Wyoming Game and Fish, he recently retired from the Wyoming Army National Guard after serving 35 years. He served as the commanding general of the Wyoming Army National Guard and the assistant adjutant general holding the rank of brigadier general. He served as a commander on 2 combat tours in Iraq and Kuwait. He is an avid outdoorsman who loves Wyoming and its natural resources. He and his wife Penny have 3 children, Brittany, Rudy, and Aspen. It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Wyoming Game and Fish Director, Brian Nesvik.
Well, good morning. It's an absolute pleasure to be here amongst friends, many of you who I haven't seen in many, many years. Director Bain did a great job of recognizing all of the, first of all, the graduates that we're here to honor today, but all of the families and all the leaders from around our state, sheriffs, chiefs, and directors from across our state that gather for what's really an important tradition that we have in Wyoming to do this ceremony the right way, and I've always respected that since I graduated from here, and as Director Bain said back in '96. I could tell you some stories about basic training instructor Bain. They're a little bit different than what you see, what you folks have all had to see over this last 12 or 14 weeks, but anyway, great memories of being here with Director Bain 26 or 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. So you know, I've got a few thoughts for you folks. I thought back on my time when I left this fine establishment and went to work, pinned on that badge. And first of all, the realization that came to me when I walked through those doors about the high expectations that the public has for those folks in this state that are empowered to pin that badge on and go to work for the people that live here. There's a tremendous amount of authority that if you haven't felt that weight on your shoulders yet, you will. Authority that gives you the ability to have significant impacts on people's lives. Bearing the commission as a peace officer in our state comes with tremendous authority, but also tremendous expectations from the public, the folks that we work for when we decide to go to work in this profession. I will tell you that in this state, we are very fortunate because regardless of some of the things that you see in other parts of the country about public support for law enforcement, in our state, know that you're going to work in a state where our public has tremendous respect and honor and dedication to those folks that choose to protect them and choose to wear a badge and serve in law enforcement across our state. So I'll ask you to reflect on a few things. This is for the graduates here today. You're joining a statewide community of Team Wyoming Law Enforcement is the way I like to think of it. This team is reflective of the character of our state. Look to your left and your right. Whether you make a career out of law enforcement or not, you now have relationships that will last for a lifetime. Look to your left and your right. You are amongst those who are willing to invest their time and risk their well-being to serve their fellow citizens. You are amongst the best and the brightest in Wyoming. Look to your left and right. Nearly all of you will save a life or lives at some point in your career, whether you serve for 30 years or whether you serve for 5. Look to your left and your right. You will have the opportunity to positively influence someone's life, and in most cases, multiple people's lives. You will have the opportunity to make your community safer and to make your community a better place to be. Look to your left and right. Some of you will engage in this profession for 30 years, as I said. Some will not, but the relationships that you've formed here will last forever. Likely, one or more of your classmates, somebody that's sitting to your left or right, will someday be a sheriff or a chief or a director in our state. And I'll tell you, this really came full circle for me here this past week. We had a significant event in western Wyoming that caused the safety of our commission meeting to be jeopardized, and we called on Team Wyoming Law Enforcement to help us out, to work with us to try to make our commission meeting safe in the face of what potentially were some very serious threats, a lot of public outcry, particularly from folks that don't live in Wyoming. And it was absolutely amazing to see the team of Wyoming law enforcement from around this state come together in full force and make sure that we could have a safe, successful event in Riverton, Wyoming. I walked through the door to that commission meeting with lots of folks, many of them are in this room right now, and saw people who I graduated from this academy with. I saw people who I had worked with in law enforcement all over the state, and most of them were like me and had some gray in their beard, but it really reminded me of the tremendous state and team we have in our state amongst the law enforcement community. It's a tight-knit community, and we demonstrated this last week how when that team is mobilized, they can make great things happen in short order. I want to congratulate you again and just tell you that this just marks the beginning of your learning. And if you look at those folks who are successful in law enforcement, they're continual learners throughout their career. I ask you to remember who you work for. You work for the great citizens of our state, and they've entrusted you with tremendous responsibility. Those who find success in law enforcement have some common traits. Confident, not cocky. Humble. Know their profession, and like I said, are continual learners. A positive attitude, and interact with those they serve professionally and with character. And in this profession, like no other, character really matters, and that will never change. Many of the techniques and the tools that you will use over your career will change. Technology brings new opportunity, but the fact that character matters in this profession will never change. I'm often reminded by many of you, a lot of you folks probably don't remember him because it's been a while since he served, but United States Senator Alan Simpson was a great Wyoming statesman, known by many. He was extremely competent leader, and one of the things that he said, he had a real way of saying things that made a lot of sense, and he said, you know, if you have integrity, nothing else matters. If you don't have integrity, nothing else matters. So as you walk out of here today, carrying that badge on your chest with pride, know you've earned it, know you have a new sense of responsibility and expectations from your public, but you've earned that responsibility, you've earned that trust, and you've earned that honor to be a Wyoming law enforcement officer. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Director Nesvik, for accepting our invitation to be our keynote speaker today and your remarks. I will tell you, 28 years ago, that was my second Peace Officer Basic class as an instructor. You and I both had more hair, different colored hair, and isn't it amazing as the years go by, we have more capability to grow more hair on our face than we do on our head. As usual, there are individuals within the class who go above and beyond, and now we want to give recognition to those officers who have achieved distinction in this basic course. I would like to invite Instructor Robert Lang. Please come forward to present the Physical Fitness Award.
Thank you, Director. During basic training, the students participate in over 40 hours of physical fitness training. This includes aerobic, anaerobic, core, and strength training, nutrition, and the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Students are tested physically from the moment they arrive, day one, starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, until their final PT assessment, which was just last Friday. Each assessment includes their maximum number of push-ups, sit-ups, and 1 minute, and their time for a 1.5 mile run. The top PT award goes to the student who has the highest cumulative percentile score during the final PT assessment based on age and gender. The Physical Fitness Award winner completed the following: 58 sit-ups in 60 seconds, 80 push-ups in 60 seconds, and a 1.5 mile run in 8 minutes and 35 seconds. The Physical Fitness Award for Peace Officer Basic 24A 165 goes to Warden Daniel Teesey from Wyoming Game and Fish. Mr. Rippey, would you please come forward and give recognition to those who excelled in firearms?
Thank you, Mr. Lang. To prepare for final proficiency scores, Peace Officer Basic students shoot approximately 1,500 handgun rounds at distances of 3 to 50 yards, as well as 600 rifle rounds out to 100 yards. In order for a student to achieve certification, they must shoot a minimum proficiency score of 80% with their handgun and their patrol rifle. This class was unique in that 7 students shot 100% with their handgun and 100% with their rifle. To determine a winner, the firearms instructors put these students through an additional comprehensive test. The WLEA Top Gun Award is given in recognition of an individual's outstanding performance and dedication to firearms excellence. The WLEA Top Gun Award for Peace Officer Basic 24A 165 goes to Officer Bailey Williams with the Jackson Police Department. Mr. Millick, would you please come forward to give recognition to those who excelled in academics?
Thank you, Mr. Rippey. The students are tested continuously as they progress their basic training. They must meet established minimum requirements in order to receive their certificate of successful completion. Specifically, they must pass 10 examinations, totaling 1,940 points. The top academic award goes to that student who achieved the highest academic cumulative average throughout the Peace Officer Basic. The top academic student in this class had an average of 97.63% over the course of basic training. Out of 1,940 total points, This officer earned 1,893.98. The academic award for Peace Officer Basic 24A 165 goes to Officer Lindsay Colt from the Rock Springs Police Department. Each class elects a spokesperson to represent their class at graduation to share their collective thoughts and experiences from the training. Classes may also choose to complete a class project. At this time, I'd like to invite up class speaker Michael Bond from the Green River Police Department.
Thank you. So for our class project, we had a classmate. His name is Max Lee Crane. And his 3-month-old girl, around the beginning of basic, had a diaphragmatic hernia that led her to being life flighted to Colorado. Max missed a few days of basic, and of course that incurred a lot of expenses and things on their part. What many of you may not know is Max has 6 other children that he has to take care of. Our class came together and we decided to raise some money to assist Max and his family with bills and other expenses. We ended up raising about $1,600 to assist Max and his family. So that was our class project. So good job, guys. All right, so first off, I'd like to thank all of everybody for attending our graduation ceremony. Class 24A 165 consists of 38 peace officers from many different departments in the state. The last 12 weeks have been filled with training, pain, sickness, laughter, happiness, online and in-person learning. There are many things that have happened during our time here at the WLEA. I won't bore you with all the online learning modules, long nights, and double-headed dragon sickness we went through. Ask the person you're here for about details on that. I can boil our time down here to 3 main points: sacrifice, leadership, and avoiding complacency. If we focus on these 3 points throughout our career, I believe we will thrive in our departments. We can better serve our communities. We will honor those that have fallen and effectively assist those that we serve alongside. I'd like to start by thanking the spouses that support us. This job takes so much of our time and attention away from all of you. Know that we would not be able to do what we do without the love and support of each of you. Personally, I don't have to worry about anything at home because my wife, Allie, she ensures that our home and my son are taken care of, and I can't express how grateful I am for her. I love you, Allie, and thank you for everything you do for Zeke and I. Next, I'd like to express my appreciation to the kids that assist our spouses who support us and are waiting for us to come home. While we perform our duties for this job, we will miss holidays, birthdays, and special events during your lives. I think I speak for all of us when I say missing these events does not mean that we love you any less. We deeply cherish every moment we get to spend with you. To the remaining family members present and friends that have decided to show up and support us, and those watching online, we thank you for all of your support and love. You are all the reason that we do what we do. 42 peace officers have made the ultimate sacrifice during our time here. One of those officers, as many of you know, who belong to our Wyoming Law Enforcement family. Sergeant Nevada Krinke lost his life on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Sergeant Krinke was a valued member of the Sheridan Police Department, an Army veteran, and a husband and a father. Sergeant Krinke's death was felt statewide. While his death was a tragedy, the response by our state and the Wyoming law enforcement family was immense. Many departments, businesses, and individuals chose to raise funds for Sergeant Krinke's family. No amount of money will ever make up for the loss of our fellow officer, but his passing has shown our class how tight-knit the Wyoming law enforcement community is. It's also shown us how much support we have from the people that we serve. A famous quote by Teddy Roosevelt titled "The Man in the Arena" reads, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." I've got to ask our class, what does leadership mean to you? As peace officers, whether we like it or not, our community will be looking to us to provide that leadership. Whether it's guiding them through the hardest times in their lives or educating them on the fact that the speed limit sign they passed is more than just a suggestion. We must choose every day to lead from the front. We all understand by now that we run towards the sound of gunfire. We're expected to see a problem and lead people to the solution. It's one thing to be a leader in our departments, but I challenge you all to choose to be a leader in your communities. If something needs to change, be the change you wish to see. If people are lost, lead them to where they need to go. If that same person you have dealt with 5 times this week is still messing up and making bad decisions, choose to lead them a 6th time to the solution that is ultimately the best for them and the community they are part of. Leadership is not sitting at a desk giving orders to those that follow you. Leadership is leading the people that choose to follow you from the front. We should choose every day the role of a servant leader. Tim Kennedy once said, "Every time you train with the motivation that you will be the hardest person someone ever tries to kill." We've learned many skills here. Custody and control, gunfighting, and use of force are just a few examples of these valuable skills. For some of us, these are skills we may not need for the entirety of our career. For others, we may need them every week or even every day. Whether you use these skills a lot or a little, when you need them, it could be life or death. I'll admit, my first 6 months on the job, I didn't do enough dry fires or shooting. I didn't even think about custody and control. Now that I've learned these skills, how to practice them and how they should be applied, I strive to train them as much as possible. I challenge you all to do the same. Most of our agencies have certified instructors for all of the perishable skills we have learned here. The resources for our training are available to us. We should be reaching out to our instructors and requesting training. We are all in charge of our own careers. Let us not be caught off guard in a bad situation. Do not allow yourselves to be unprepared to handle the circumstance due to your lack of preparation and training. We've learned much here in this 12-week academy. There have been a lot of late nights, early mornings, sore muscles, and frayed tempers. But we finally made it to the end. I believe if we can keep these 3 points, sacrifice, leadership, and avoiding complacency in the forefront of our minds, we all have the potential to accomplish great things in our respective agencies. I'd like to end with thanking the instructors and the rest of the WLEA staff. Our training is only as good as the people that choose to train us. I look forward to seeing what our class accomplishes in all our careers. I'm excited for what the future of law enforcement holds for us all. Thank you again for coming, and congratulations to all my classmates of Class 24A165.
Thank you, class, for your donation for your fellow classmate. Thank you, Officer Bond, for your words here today. And now to our final award. In every class, there are those students who are willing to distinguish themselves by their exemplary work and efforts. They strive to become the best of the best within this class and their chosen profession. As a form of recognition for the one student who continually performed to the best of their abilities, the Academy has established the Honor Graduate Award. I would ask Mr. Smith and Mr. Lawrence please come forward to give recognition to those students who have been nominated for this award.
Thank you, Director Bain. The Honor Graduate Award is the highest honor that the Academy presents to a student graduating from a Wyoming Law Enforcement basic course. In order to be eligible to receive this award, a student must be nominated by a member of the instructional staff. It is not a popularity contest, and it is an honor just to be nominated. Once the officer is nominated, a very comprehensive and objective point system is used to assess the nominee's performance while attending the basic. The specific areas evaluated are the student's academic scores, the proficiency in firearms, custody and control, and physical fitness. In addition, students are assessed in the following 6 areas of professional citizenship: leadership, effort, cooperation, initiative, attitude, and improvement. In alphabetical order, will the following officers please come forward and receive your merit award in recognition of your nomination? From the Campbell County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Jacob Ayton. From the Green River Police Department, Officer Michael Bond. From the Laramie Police Department, Officer Hunter Rope. From Wyoming Game and Fish, Warden Daniel Teesey. And from the Jackson Police Department, Officer Bailey Williams. The Honor Graduate Award recognizes the one student in each basic class who exemplifies all the attributes of a professional peace officer and who performed exceptionally in all phases of training. So in addition to receiving a plaque, and with the intent to encourage the recipient beyond today's recognition, the Honor Graduate will receive a $500 scholarship for any advanced training offered here at WLEA. It is a long-standing tradition that the audience stand while the Honor Graduate Award is presented. So would you please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, the Honor Graduate Award for Peace Officer Basic 24A 165 goes to Officer Michael Bond from the Green River Police Department. Please be seated. At this time, we award graduation certificates.
All the staff here at WLA congratulate you, Peace Officer Basic 24A 165, for completing your basic training. We started this journey just a few months ago, and today we've arrived. On behalf of the class and Academy staff, we would like to thank the many Wyoming law enforcement agencies and associations across the state who partner with us to provide the best possible training so that these new officers have what they need to do their jobs competently, reasonably, and safely. the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police, the Wyoming Peace Officers Association, the Wyoming Law Enforcement Chaplains Association, and the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission are a few of the many who regularly devote expertise, financial assistance, and manpower to assist us in accomplishing our mission, and we thank you. The Academy would also like to recognize the families of these men and women who have themselves willingly sacrificed in many ways so that their loved one can protect their community. These officers cannot do what they do without you. We know that you've taken care of things at home these last several weeks so your loved one could be here and study their craft. We thank you for your sacrifice and we appreciate you. Peace Officer Basic 24A 165, you have spent the last several months constantly engaged in activities that force you to learn, apply, and adapt the basic information, principles, and tactics of a law enforcement professional in order to achieve outcomes. At the same time, we have immersed you in a culture that demands initiative, resolve, accountability, creativity, and integrity, which is the same environment you're now returning to work in. You're here today because you've demonstrated a basic level of functionality in the 5 core competencies we measured, which in and of itself is an achievement to be celebrated. Our challenge to you now is to continue learning, continue practicing, and continue striving to become a masterful police officer, because this is the expectation of both your agency and the communities you're returning to. Director Bain, I recommend the awarding of certificates of successful completion for the Wyoming P.O.S.T approved 605-hour Peace Officer Basic Course 24A 165. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready, if you want to come down and take pictures of your loved one, please feel free. We're here till at least 5. From the Campbell County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Jacob Ayton. From the Casper Police Department, Officer Zachary Bertinoli. From the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, Warden Bradley Blackstock. We are fortunate to have several special presenters with us today. These people are the family members of a graduate who themselves are currently serving or have served in law enforcement. Our first special presenter served with the Green River Police Department for 31 years. Here to help present his son-in-law certificate, please help me welcome retired Chief Thomas Jarvie. And from the Green River Police Department, Officer Michael Bond. From the Campbell County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Samuel Boyles. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Lucas Bray. From the Laramie County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Manuel Cabrera. Our next special presenter has served in law enforcement for 40 years, beginning as an officer with Lyman PD in 1983. He also served with the Uintah County Sheriff's Office and Evanston Police Department, where he retired from active duty in 2021. He continues to serve that community as a community service officer. Here to present his great niece's certificate, please help me welcome retired Sergeant Randy Chandler. And from the Lyman Police Department, Officer Lillian Chandler. From the Casper Police Department, Officer Cole Shivers. From the Rock Springs Police Department, Officer Lindsay Colt. Our next special presenter has served with the McDougall-Walker, Connecticut Correctional Institution for 18 years. Here to present his daughter's certificate, please help me welcome Officer Joseph Daniele. From the University of Wyoming Police Department, Officer Jordan Daniele. From the Moorcock Police Department, Officer Trayton Dawson. From the Casper Police Department, Officer Dallin Dold. From the Casper Police Department, Officer Remu Dorsami. From the Campbell County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Edward Evenson. Our next special presenter has served with the Wyoming Highway Patrol for 9 years. Here to present his brother's certificate, please help me welcome Lieutenant Leo Ferguson. And from the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, Warden Chase Ferguson. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Casey Fuller. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Wyatt Garcia. Our next special presenter has served with the Tieno, Washington Police Department for 6 years. Here to present his cousin's certificate, please help me welcome Sergeant Aaron Lee. And from the Hot Springs County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Max Lee Crane. From the Sublette County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Garrett Lozier. From the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, Warden Tylen Masco. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Robert McAdams. From the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Josh Nelson. Our next special presenter has served with the Albany County Sheriff's Office for 9 years. Here to present his son's certificate, please help me welcome Sergeant Darren Olafson. And also from the Albany County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Damian Olafson. From the Worland Police Department, Officer Augustus Pantelis. Our next special presenter has served with the Nevada Department of Corrections for 4 years. Here to present her brother's certificate, please help me welcome Senior Corrections Officer Madeline Pickens. And from the Green River Police Department, Officer Sven Pickens. Our next special presenter served with the Duluth, Minnesota Police Department for 32 years. Here to present his daughter's certificate, please help me welcome retired Officer T.J. Davis. And from the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Mackenzie Putsky. From the University of Wyoming Police Department, Officer Kiernan Quinones. From the Kimmerer Police Department, Officer James Reeder. From the Laramie Police Department, Officer Hunter Rope. From the Riverton Police Department, Officer Bartley Schwegler. From the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, Warden Zane Stewart. From the Laramie Police Department, Officer Kyle Strobley. Impressive. From the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, Warden Daniel Teesey. Our final special presenter served with the Nevada Department of Wildlife for 27 years. Here to present his nephew's certificate, please help me welcome retired Chief Game Warden Tyler Turnipseed. And from the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, Warden Jack Turnipseed. From the Jackson Police Department, Officer Bailey Williams. From the Jackson Police Department, Officer Riley Williams. And from the Cody Police Department, Officer Philip Woods.
These past 12 weeks have required a considerable investment in time, energy, and money to prepare you, a class, to serve your communities as a law enforcement officer. We have saturated you with knowledge, law, terms, and tactics. We tested you each week. We sprayed you, tossed you, ran you, and even made some of you drive beyond your comfort levels and sometimes ours. We placed you in multiple scenarios that required you to demonstrate your ability to search buildings, make traffic stops, respond to domestic violence calls. You encountered non-compliant and deadly suspects, investigated crimes, handled people in crisis. All the while, we required you to maintain your composure and professional demeanor. Despite all of this exposure, the reality is the real work and training begins when you walk out of these academy doors. The public you serve will be far more critical of your job performance than any of our instructors ever were. The Academy works in partnership with agencies, so many of you, your next phase will be training with your field training officers who will build upon your knowledge and skills to help you apply them in real-life situations. As you encounter those situations, it is important to always act with honor and integrity. Remember that law enforcement is always under the watchful eye of the public. When one officer chooses a path of adverse actions or behaviors, that choice often affects all of us. That poor choice may very well tarnish the badge that many have worked so hard to uphold. So, as a public affirmation of your commitment to uphold the high standards required of law enforcement profession, in just a few moments I'm going to ask you, in front of your family, your colleagues, your administrators, and guests, to submit to the Law Enforcement Oath of Honor. I will also invite all sworn law enforcement officers present here today, if you choose, to voluntarily participate with us, along with the newest officers in the state of Wyoming, to profess our commitment to perform our jobs ethically, honorably, and with integrity. Veteran officers that are in the room, if you wish to affirm your oath, I would ask you to please stand. Class, please stand. Everyone, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, nor the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our own actions. I will always uphold the Constitution and the community I serve. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege as the Director of the Law Enforcement Academy to introduce to you the graduates of Peace Officer Basic 24A 165. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. We are having refreshments and a reception in our dining hall just down the hallway. Follow the luxurious smell to find your way. Thank you for joining us today. Please drive safely going home. Thank you.